right? What do you want to do tonight?
The same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the world.
You might think that getting into the IT field is impossible without a computer science degree, but Tech Coach Ralph is here to prove you wrong. Get ready for some jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into this lucrative industry. Listen up, tech enthusiasts! Are you ready to break through into the IT field, but feel like you need a computer science degree to make it happen? Think again! Tech Coach Ralph has some exclusive, mind-blowing secrets to share with you. Get ready to be blown away by his jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into the tech industry without a computer science degree. So get your notepad ready, because Tech Coach Ralph is going to change your life forever. Buckle up, because you're about to embark on a journey to success in the IT field.
Are you ready? Are you ready? It's time!
Oh, look at that. Oh, I'm muted. Welcome everyone to another Thursday night episode of Software Explorations. We are going to be working on API documentation. API stands for Application Programming Interface. We've been talking about APIs for the past month now. We've done so much work on APIs. We were supposed to continue on karate today. However, I have a story in my backlog. Hold on, Jesus Christ, give me 1 second. All right, I noticed some reflection on this thing, and I looked at it, saw the light, turned around, and kids, I tell you, they just come in here and they just start moving things around. But we're good. We are good, So, anyways, we were supposed to continue working on the API documentation with karate, but I have the story that I need to get done for this sprint of mine, working with the Tech Barbarians. So we are going to pivot. We are going to make adjustments, and we are going to work on that. And then next week we'll get back to the karate to continue with that. So if you do not know who I am your host of the show and of the channel. I am Tech Coach Ralph, where we are engineered to win. Yes, we are. And like I said, we're going to be working on API documentation. I want to say a big shout out and salute to Yakar, to Trap and Slay, two of my most favorite people in the entire world. So, and let's just shout them out really quick. We got Yakar in the building saying salute to you as well, Yakar, and Trap and Slay saying, hey everyone, hey to you as well. Trap and Slay is my sister from South Florida. We went to the same high school, believe it or not. At different times, we did go to the same high school. So we're connected. We are connected. All right. So let's get it in. So your car also says, if you smell what Tech Coach Ralph is cooking. You know what? I need to see every time I have to get a new soundbite. Anyways, let's get to it. So here we are. Let's just jump into it really quick. And after I get into the housekeeping, I have a big thank you to Yakar and Trap and Slay as well for giving me an amazing idea, and for catching a typo, which is a bug. And that's why the importance of beta testing and QA is so important. So let's see. Do you remember my question? I kind of do. It was like, how long have you been in tech, and what do you like the most about it? I think that was the question, right? But I can answer it again. But let me get through the housekeeping, and then we will jump into the chat, and then we'll jump into icebreaker and all that good stuff, right? All right. So really quick, let's get through our agenda really quick. So let me put up, boom, housekeeping real quick. So first and foremost, thank you to all of the new subscribers, as well as those who have been with me for a very long time. Thank you to the channel members, and shout out to the tech barbarians, the tech prodigy, the tech explorers, the bag chasers who put in the work all day, all night long. All right, so let's jump into our live show schedule. We have our morning shows, Coffee and Kata. Mondays, we start around 8 a.m. Eastern Time, and then on Wednesdays, around 7:15 Eastern Time, where we are working. So we review some news stories, we have a cup of coffee, and we continue working through our mobile app, our mobile development building up the time cost calculator, which I will have some additional comments about that in a little bit. Sunday afternoons, we have our software explorations. We are working our way through Terraform. We have been using Terraform to build the infrastructure for the app, the David Goggins Quotes app that the Tech Barbarians are building. And then we have Tuesday nights where we have our Q&A session where I find questions. You have questions that I answer for you as well. And you can even call in to the show if you want to. We can have a short conversation, short discussion on whatever is on your mind, and we can go from there. Thursday nights tonight, we have more software explorations. We focus it a little bit more on QA, a little bit more on development. And then, so like the mornings are more for like mobile development that we're learning. The Thursday nights are for more like maybe web development, software development. And on Sundays, it's more for infrastructure. And then Saturday mornings, our newest show of the lineup, we have and what a perfect time for Mitch to come in. What a perfect time for Mitch to come in. We have the Men Lie, Women Lie, Numbers Manipulate. And that is where we go over our weekly numbers, our economic numbers for the week, where we are like, and that's the thing about it, right? As we like, your car told me this earlier today, the content creates itself. Because as we are learning about this, we start to have new ideas. Okay, how can we better apply this? How can we better present this? How can we better learn this as a group, as a unit, so that we can be very well informed? And I tell you, Mitch and your car play such a big part of that show. I am just like the face and like I'm reading the numbers and they're breaking it down in the chat. I have so much homework to do with this. I'm gonna try to see if I can do it tomorrow, so that we can be even better prepared, knowing what when we're reading the graphs and stuff, to know what these letters mean and then how to break down the graphs, which is so important. All right. So that is our live show schedule. So something just about every day. The only day that I decided not to go live anymore is on Fridays, because that is the day to plan and to prepare and to start, maybe I might be recording on that day. So and sometimes we might end up going live on Fridays. It's not going to be often, I'll tell you that, but we might. All right. So let's jump into our pre-recorded content. We have Mondays, Candid Conversations. And this past Monday, I spoke about the cost of hiring. Do you guys know how expensive it is to hire? It is very, very expensive. So a lot of times people are like, oh, these companies, this companies, that, they should give us a chance, which is going to lead into our icebreaker, but they should give us a chance. And I'm like, hiring is so super expensive. If you only knew. So I break it down in that video. So if you're interested about how hiring goes, you might want to check that out, especially if you're looking to transition into a new field. Very, very important. Wednesdays, we talk about software explorations, concept and overviews. Yesterday, I broke down what business analysts do and how they serve such a vital role into companies. So if anyone is interested in becoming a business analyst or learning more about it, I highly recommend you go check out that video. And then Fridays, we have the Bug Bite, where we review, it's just, we review some news articles, we review like cybersecurity related things, some breaches, some vulnerabilities. Sometimes we might review some bugs. Sometimes we just review just different, news. And tomorrow we're going to be talking about what a Norwegian CEO of a $1.6 trillion oil and gas company said about Americans and the American work ethic. Yes, you will definitely want to tune into that, because I was like, what? Did he really say that? So you definitely want to tune in, right? And then throughout the week, we have shorts, which I have to do a better job at releasing the shorts. But we have shorts as well as the clips from the Q&A show, Monday through Friday in the afternoon. So you definitely want to check that out. All right. So that's the lineup of the shows, live and pre-recorded, as well as thank you to all of the tech barbarians. And if you haven't done so yet, do me a big favor. Go ahead and like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you can know every single time we go live. And or drop new content. And if you're in need of one-on-one help, coaching, to build you up for your next career, go over to www.techcoachralph.dev where you can see what coaching plans that I have. I keep it at a very, very low cost, but we work hard, we grind hard, and we have fun with it too, right? So it's like the way that I work on this stream, but you get to work that way too. And it is so intense, but it is so much fun. And we just make it happen, we make it work, right? So that being said, that is the news story. Or what am I saying? That is our housekeeping for today. All right. So I'm going to check out what's going on in the chat. And then we will get to our icebreaker. So let's see, who do we have here today? All right. So we have, Trap says, do I remember her question? I kind of have an idea what the question was. I don't remember it word for word, but if you remember it, feel free to refresh my memory and I will be happy to answer it for you again. All right, so we got App Stars in the building. Good evening to you. Salute, salute, salute. And of course, we got Mitch in the building. Black blazer, black hoodie, black shades, black Air Force Ones, dark night, so I can see better. Oh my God. And now, the blazer is off. The blazer is off. The tie is loose. Superman is alive.
Bruh.
And we are about to get to it now because, like Mitch always says, the show does not start until Mitch arrives. And then we got Antonio Watkins saying, we are in the building.
We the best.
All right, let's get to it. We got the wealth building journey. The wealth building journey, please be on your best behavior tonight. The wealth building, and you know what? And that's the funny thing. When I tell the wealth building journey to be on his best behavior, he knows exactly what I'm referring to because he be trying to come in here with these big fancy words and we be stumbling and bumbling and we're like, But the other day on a stream, there was a news story and the person said effectuate. I'm like, ooh, that sounds like a wealth building journey word. Effectuate. I like that. All right. So let's see. Mitch says, I had to give an energy drink presentation today. Someone else fell victim. I was trying to avoid it, but I couldn't. What did you do? Mitch? What did you do? Did you shame somebody today? Oh my goodness. Mitch going out here, going on his what is that word? His campaign against energy drinks. So in November, vote for Mitch against energy drinks. All right. So, and Antonio Watkins says, I'm watching my beginner video now again. There you go. Hey, watch it until it makes sense. And then once it makes sense, we move forward a little. And Mitch says, business analyst video is good. I only disagree just a little. I don't think you have to be fully technical. Of course, it's better, but don't think you don't need it at all. You don't. I think it just makes you so much more effective. But yeah, you don't need it. But I mean, honestly, like whenever I work with product owners, product managers, scrum masters, and whoever else, the more technical they lean, the easier it is to have that conversation with them and to break it down, and then that they can communicate with the stakeholders, like to go back and forth. But yeah, you certainly don't need it to be like fully technical. But I think that, and like I've seen a lot of business analysts go to QA, and then I've seen a lot of QA go to business analysts. So a lot of times they have that technical knowledge, especially in order for them to be able to effectively communicate with developers and QA and stuff like that. So yeah, I agree with you. It's not needed, but it is so helpful. It is so helpful. All right. So let's get you see the wealth building journey knows. All right. And let me read this one first. The wealth building journey says, almost got me in trouble when I was in a meeting. Yeah. I tagged him on a stream. And because I tried to add him, but his name didn't show up, so I just typed his name out. So he was watching, but and then he ended up responding. That was hilarious. All right, Mitch says the data business analyst is where it's at. I love data. And and I think the numbers show is what's going to pull me back into learning more about data again, because like I said, I got through NumPy, I got through pandas, and then I got to pyplotlibs, and that one was a pain. I was like, oh, and then after that, I was like, all right, I have to revisit this. But that might bring me back. All right, cool. So we are caught up. Let's get into our icebreaker. Let's do our icebreaker for tonight. All right, perfect candidates. So you know how I do. I just go around looking for stuff to see what is the sentiment. What are people talking about, right? So this icebreaker goes 30 interviews and no one hired. Yet another friend telling me she can't find good talent. My thinking, if you interviewed 30 people and did not hire someone, then start looking in the mirror. The problem is recruiters and hiring managers are looking for the perfect candidate, right? Newsflash, there is no perfect candidate. If you have someone with the right attitude and skill set to do the job and they fit in with the team, hire them. There are so many qualified individuals still job searching. Yet, I see the same jobs being reposted over and over again, being left vacant for months. Who took a chance on you? Maybe it's time you took a chance on someone. Agree? That is a good question. Do I agree with that? Well, you see, there is so much nuance in these type of posts. And so I'm going to break this down to you guys real quick. There are two types of recruiters out there. There's a recruiter that works for an actual company who is looking for talent to bring onto the team. And then there are recruiters who work for either like a contracting company or they work for themselves. And then they're trying to place people into these type of companies, right? So these type of posts and thoughts come from the second type of recruiter, those external recruiters, not the internal recruiters working for the company. Because, like I said on Monday, the cost of hiring is very, very expensive, right? Very expensive for the cost of recruiting. And with that high cost, like there's no such, like this person's right. There is no such thing as a perfect candidate, but there is a thing about getting it wrong and how much money that's going to cost. And that's why I always say companies are so reluctant to just give anyone a chance. And if someone meets like certain criteria, and then it's like, all right, because there has to be like this person said, like the attitude. But a lot of times, like you might have the right attitude, but the skill set is very, very lacking. Or sometimes you might have great skill set, but terrible attitude. Now, interviewing 30 people, it depends on what the job is. Like, I'm not going to be interviewing for a staff QA engineer, and then the 30 people that I end up interviewing are like level 2, level 1, and they say, oh, well, I interviewed 30 people. I just have to take someone. Because a lot of times and here's the thing that happened. With the remote work and the online, not online, but the hiring where people are applying online and stuff like that, you're going to get an influx of applications. And when you have that influx of applications, you have a lot to go through, and so you might end up. And then people will also lie on their resumes as well. People will lie, and that's one thing that I hate, like with a passion, when people will lie on their resume, because they'll say that, oh, because like if I'm hiring for a staff QA engineer or a lead QA engineer, and the person said they're a senior, I'm like, okay, senior, I'll interview them. But then when you start talking to them, they're barely a QA intern. And I'm like, all right, but you said you had this. And then you start asking them questions about what's on their resume, and they start choking up and stuff like that. And some people, oh, maybe they were just nervous, or maybe they're just lying. See, like when people start to like, I just don't like people lying on their resume. If you didn't do the work, then don't put it. Like, and that's why, like when I'm reviewing resumes for my tech barbarians, I'm like, all right, if you're gonna put it, you better be able to back it up. You better be able to justify it. You better be able to confidently speak about it. Or hire hire adjacent for what you are looking for. And a lot of times, like, oh, we can't find these positions. Well, maybe you need to up your skills. Maybe you need to up your skills. So that's why, like whenever I see these posts, I'm like, I get what you're saying, but it's really to make all the people who are following you feel good. All the people who cannot get the results, you're just trying to make them feel good, but you're still not getting any results. I would rather have results and feel like crap instead of have no results and feel like I am on top of the world. Because at that point, having great feelings without any results is just a recipe for disaster in my book. So do I agree with this post? I do not. I think everything is on a one-on-one basis. Maybe the companies are making a mistake by interviewing many unqualified people. Maybe that's what it is. But maybe the companies might be desperate for someone to fill the role, but they just can't find anybody. There's so many different factors into it. I remember I was interviewing for positions back then, and I could not find anybody to fill the role. Like, and it's like, it was open for months, but I had a particular need that I was looking for, and I couldn't find it. So, am I just going to take anybody? No, I'm not just going to take anybody, because now I have to deal with that person that I hire, and I need to no. It's like I'd rather do it myself, the way that I know it's going to be, instead of just taking anybody. Like, will I take someone who might not have all the skills? Yes, of course, but they're going to have to compensate in other areas in order for me to just but I'm not, like, just because I interviewed 30 people doesn't mean that all that one of those 30 were qualified for it. It doesn't mean that. It just depends on what you're looking for, how specific that you are, things like that. I'm just saying. That's the way I see it. That's the way I see it. And I'll even tell you this one last thing, right? Because I see Mitch's comments talking about why not just train them then, right? And here's why. Because a lot of times, here's a perfect example. So they'll have skills. So we could train them, right? We could train them, but because they might have skills for where they are, maybe they can work for like 60K, for example, right? But they're demanding 90 to 100K without the skill for it. So I'm like, you are number one, you misrepresent yourself on the resume. Number two, you're asking way more than, because if I'm gonna have to train you, I'm not gonna be paying you all this money to train you, right? So that's the way that I see it. So I think that a lot of times the job people think they're qualified for it, they are not qualified for it, and then they go and they find the people who make them feel good about their circumstances or situations, and then it just leaves them with no results. And but they feel great though. They feel great. So shout out to them for having all the online influencers who have these thousands of followers who are making so much money off of them, but they're not getting the results. So we like results, and that's why we hang together, because people will tell you, they'll tell you the truth. I'd rather you tell me the truth, and then I have to level up and do what I have to do, and then I get the results, instead of me sitting with nothing, but you made my heart tingle. So I'd rather not live in my fifis. All right. So with that being said, that is the icebreaker for today. Mitch says we can't give her no. All right. So that is it. All right. Let's go to the chat real quick, and then we will get to work. Let's see here. Okay, cool. We'll get to work. So we have. Oh, Mitch, we about to do art. Let me get rid of. Oh my goodness, why are you still here? Let's go with here. So Mitch, we about to do RPA at work. Oh, robotic process automation. I remember somebody asked me a question about that when we did the cybersecurity stream with Socks back in the days. And let's see here. Let's see. Does your company use UI? Interesting. UiPath. I never heard of that one. And with the wealth building journey says the cost of hiring is about 1.75 times the position's salary. So that's almost 2 times the salary of the person you're hiring, right? And that's not even and the way you have to think about it, right? The person's salary, but before you even get that person's salary, all the people that you have to go through to find out who you're going to hire, all the people who are involved in the hiring process, from the recruiters to the hiring manager, from the people who are, if there's a technical part of the interview. And then, do you believe some people say, I'm not doing no technical interview. I'm like, all right, cool. Like, I'm not gonna fight you for it. If you don't want to do it, then don't do it. Then get out of here, right? But anyways, so like, and then like, if you have the team, like a panel interview, like, there's so many different people at higher levels who are doing the interviews. So yeah, and then once you get them hired, and then all the benefits that come along with it, and to me, that's why companies are so careful about that. And let's see, it says Mitch isn't perfect, but he's like 99.9%. Sorry, Mitch, not perfect enough. He says, on my resume, I put your skills. That's how I got my job. Hey, that as, that works as long as you can back it, as long as you can back it up. And Antonio Watkins says, up your skills for sure, definitely. And then Mitch says, why not train them then? I, I I do train some people if they get hired for the right position. But if you are trying to get for a high level position and you have very low level skills, it ain't happening. It ain't happening. And the wealth building journey says, I once heard the phrase, I'd rather have a hole on my team than in a hole on my team. That's funny. That's funny. Mitch says, I'll take the Mitch. All right, never mind, Mitch, never mind. And this is we can't give no participation trophies allowed. No participation trophies. All right. And let's see. It says Trappist Slay says, I'm over here going through the app. I'll be sending you more notes tonight. So that's you know what? Maybe Trap. Maybe you chose the wrong. Maybe you should have went into QA, Trap. So, like I said earlier, I almost forgot. But your car sent me a message. I think it was either late. I got it this morning. It was like, these two things for the app. One is there's this one typo. I'm like, man, how did they see that typo? But and then the other one is an idea. So I'm like, all right, cool. We're gonna add the idea to the backlog for the next iteration release, where we can actually work through adding that feature, because I'm thinking about what's the best way to add it. But the typo, like, okay, cool. That typo will get it fixed, but that was awesome. But it looks like Trap has some more things that she's gonna be sending. So, and you know what? Trap is you have so much potential, because you could be UI, UX, you could be cybersecurity, you could be QA, but we will see what these ideas are, and we will be going through that. All right. And then we have so once again, shout out to Yakar and Trap for giving us some amazing ideas. And the World Building Journey says, I still have absolutely no idea what a participation trophy is. Well, it's you get a medal for showing up. You get a medal for showing up. And it says, I don't know if I believe in technical interviews. I did one once though. I did one though. Hey, they tell you how to do things, and they're never done. Just joking, everyone. All right, let's get to it today. Let's get to it. We are going to get to work. Let me turn this AC down a little bit. If you here's a question. If you lower the temperature on the AC, is that putting it down or putting it up? Like, if it's cold, do you put it down or do you put it up? I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Because I got some people say scroll down, and then I scroll down. Like, actually, I meant the other way. I'm like, oh, my up or you're up? I don't know. All right, let's. Yes. The Wealth Building Journey, a medal for showing up. That is celebrating mediocrity. All right, and let's see. Down makes it colder. All right, so I was right. Down makes it colder. And your car says up is up and down is down. Yes. Let me hear your thoughts on this. What do you think, Raph? Is putting the AC down or up making it colder or warmer? All right. Let's see. All right, let's get to work. All right. So you see, look at that. Up is hot and down is cold, just like I like it. Brr. Okay, there we go. And depends upon the weather outside. Think about it. Interesting. All right. So that put it back. All right, cool. Let's get to it. So, did I close this? Shoot. Hold on one second. Gotta get the link. All right. Let me close that. Okay, so what we're going to be doing tonight, we're going to be implementing Swagger documentation. Let's go over here. And so this is just the Swagger site, swagger.io. But I have a tutorial that we're going to be following to implement it. Pretty much, we've seen Swagger documentation on the HTTP bin site, which we were using to practice our automating APIs. But we need to I'm not going to go through this whole thing, but this is just the website for Swagger. What we're going to go through is, I'm going to drop that link in the chat. What we're going to go through is this site right here, which is going to walk us through applying the Swagger documentation to our application. All right. So, all right. So pretty much, I'm going to show you what our starting point is going to be. So let's just read it real quick. This post was originally published on blog.terrycabral.com, where I write about building backend applications. The documenting your API is crucial for good integration with other developers. It is also a tedious task, and hopefully some tools help us, but still, most of the work remains on our side. In this previous tutorial, we built a REST API with Node.js and Express. Today, we'll be documenting it by using two tools. The Open API specification, it defines a standard and language agnostic interface to RESTful APIs, which allows both humans and computers to discover and understand the capabilities of the service without access to the source code, documentation, or through network traffic inspection. When properly defined, a consumer can understand and interact with the remote service with a minimal amount of implementation logic. All right. Practically we'll create in our case, we'll be creating a .js file where we will write the documentation following the Open API specification. For example, it will contain the endpoints, the HTTP method, and the request body's input, the response return when successful, and shape of the data returned in the response. And then we're going to be using Swagger. Swagger is used to parse the documentation file and map the data on a nice and user-friendly UI. External developers will access this through a URL exposed from our API. So to make it simple, right? This application that we're building, it has a backend feature to it where it can host like any quotes and stuff like that. And that means if somebody wanted to build a site where it's loading quotes, we could just they can just use the documentation, integrate with our API. On our side, like we can build many sites with different like quotes and stuff like that. So the one that we're building now is with David Goggins, but we can easily say, all right, we just want to take the same replica of the site and put it in with another author, or whoever, not author, but like whoever the quote person is, right? And then that would load that, and that's just another site, another application. And the thing is with Swagger documentation, when you're onboarding new people onto the team, you can just say, okay, look at the Swagger documentation and go through it and see how, like, what the endpoints are and things like that. So that is the idea behind it. That's why it's so important. One of the most important things is to have Swagger documentation, right? So let's go to prerequisites. We already have Node. We have like Node 18 or 21 or something like that. We already have npm, so we don't need to do that. We already have our project set up, so we don't need to do any of that. So we can go all right. So in your browser, navigate here. So here's a list of the endpoints to document. So I already have this information on my thing. Once done, create a folder called docs, and inside create a file called API docs. The R is going to be .js. And let me start the timer, by the way.
It's time to do.
All right. So I got to turn off that one, but all right. Anyways. All right. So where do we define API documentation? We can write our documentation with Swagger in two ways. Comments inline inside the multi-line comment on top of the endpoint definition. We can write our documentation here, and Swagger will parse it. The format to use is YAML. It'll look like this. Okay. It's gonna be pretty simple actually. And then we can write our documentation as JSON objects following the JSON schema standard. When finished, pass our object as an argument while initializing Swagger. What's going on, Spaces? Happy to see you here. Welcome.
I appreciate you.
All right. So let's see. What to use. Writing documentation in the comments can make our file hard to read, and also we can reuse objects when needed. And to finish, YAML can be hard to write without linter. With JSON objects, we can create a separate file and write our documentation inside, create a reusable variable, and the JSON schema is quite easy to use. As you can guess, we will use JSON objects in this tutorial. So let's start. All right, cool. So we can get started with that. All right, cool. So I'm going to go to the other screen where we have our WebStorm. And I am going to, first and foremost, I'm going to create a new branch. What branch am I on? So let's see. We are on the basic auth branch. All right, so here's what I need to do actually, because I always start like this. We're going to go to, and here you can see a little bit of Agile and Scrum happening. So here, this is the sprint that we're currently in. We're on our 16th sprint. Our 16th sprint. Since we started this project, and there's been people who came, people who left, but we don't miss. All right. So this is what we're working on. All right. So this is the story for the Swagger documentation. I'm going to move this story to in progress, and I'm going to open this. And do you see this? Do you see the work that we're doing in here? Like we have, this one is pretty much done. Only thing left is the finishing up the QA on updating existing quotes. We have implementing basic authentication. That one is a pretty tricky one, but I figured out a way to get it done. And we have the tech barbarians working their way through it. And now we are here. So I am going to create a new branch. Create branch. This thing happens. Let's go here. And we're gonna go here. We're gonna get it from develop. And I think that's a good name. Create the branch. So now what I just did was I create a branch from the develop branch, and then I'm gonna go back into here. Cool. And I'm gonna get the latest version, or the latest branch that I just created. That way it's already on GitHub, so I can easily just push it back, and I don't have to I don't have to do like the upstream push. So git checkout. All right, so now we are on the branch, and we will go to, let's see, what folder is it at the, I guess it's at the root level. So let's go in here. Let me close these folders up. And I'm going to create a new folder, a new directory called docs. And inside this folder, I'm going to do a new file. Your card's hilarious. We're going to call it API doc.ts. Or it's not .ts. We're not using TypeScript in this project. .js. And we're going to do constant API documentation equals, and we're going to say open API colon 3.0. Is that even the latest one? I don't know. Well, maybe we'll just upgrade that as we get there. But all right, so info, or say version, I don't know, 1.0.0, I guess. I don't know. And then title. Documentation. And let's see. Let's do contact name and email. All right, and then we will have the URL. All right, so we got that done. What else do we have in here? All right, license. Apache 2.0. And I just copied this part. Let's see what else. Servers. Open a list array. Going to be URL, and that would be localhost. Or and let's see. Description. Local server. And then we have another one in the list, which is going to be URL. Description. Let's call that production server. All right, let's see. Tags. I'm not gonna put tags. I don't have any tags right now. All right, so now we go and we close that one out, and we're gonna say export API documentation. All right, we got that. Hopefully this works with our version of Node, but we shall find out. All right, so that part is done. So let's go back over here. So I just finished doing all of this part right here. Start with writing the API documentation, and then we are going to do. So we define a title for our API, a description, a developer's contact, and the URL of the project for each environment. I define one for the local environment and one for the production. You can add as many environments as possible. And I might end up having a couple of more environments, but the property tag represents a set of endpoints grouped together by their domain. The tag roles refer to the application. Okay, so we do have to add the tags. All right, so let me go ahead and do that. And we're just learning it as we go along, because this is my first time using this type of API documentation. I mean, implementing it. I've used it before in the past, but I've never implemented it before. So I'm learning what these things are in here. So we have this array, and we're gonna have, I think we just have one. Right now, we only have one. It's gonna be name, and it's gonna be quotes. That's the only one we have right now. So we can just leave it as that. We will like as we build the app out more, we'll have more endpoints to go with, but that's all it is for now. All right, so we have that. All right, so let's keep going. We define, all right, we got that. The tags, all right, create a user. Create a new file inside the docs folder called user.ts and add the code below. So ours is going to be quotes because we don't have users yet. We just have quotes. But it's going to look like this: tags, users, description. I'm interested to see how, like, I'm just gonna scroll down this article real quick just to see, like, at what point did they actually install, like, this the Swagger stuff. Oh, so they do it all the way at the end. So they do all of this. So they do all of this first, and then all the way at the end, that's when they actually implement the. That's interesting. That is interesting. So it shouldn't be too much. All right. So and we only have like one real like
I
one.
appreciate you.
Welcome, Heist King. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for subscribing. All right. So, and I see your comment too. I can answer that right now. Actually, do we get access to the Jira? So, no, you don't get access to Jira because the Jira is it's limited to who can like sign up for it, and that's why I use the Jira. So, I break it down like this: the way that I run my coaching group is the same way that you would be working inside a work environment. So those who are in the coaching group, they are the ones who are actively working on implementing these stories. So I might be doing development like you see now, but they're going to be the ones who are doing the testing and approving the pull request. They're going to be pulling the branch in, starting it up locally, running through the test scenarios, writing the automation test, stuff like that. So I limit it. I limit who can get access to the Jira. So it's those who are part of the coaching group who get access to the Jira because they're actually doing work on it. They're actually moving the stories on the board. So like, if you look at this over here, see this is assigned to someone. This is assigned to someone. Like I did this work over here. I should probably assign myself to this. But but yeah, so it's like people who are part of the coaching group, they are the ones who are actually getting that real experience so that when they go to apply for jobs, they actually can like they can actually know what they're talking about and they are that much further. Because what I've seen is a lot of people who go from these boot camps or from these courses, they don't know how to navigate through Git. They don't know how to navigate through Docker. They don't know how to navigate through Jira. So I'm helping them build that real life experience so that they can comfortably go and interview. And that's why one of my newest tech barbarians, they are going to be starting a job on June 3rd, internship for a bank, right? Where they're going to be doing business analytics and quality assurance. So yeah, that is the deal with that. And a high level overview of what I'm working on. All right. So high level overview is I have been so this project is a quotes app. I can actually show it to you, right? So I go to so here. This is our quotes app. And when you just click on this, it gives you a David Goggins quote. Right? This is from a interview that he had or in a book or something like that. So like when you're feeling like defeated, down, you want to quit, just go and you click on that and it gives you a new quote. And the second I get my head out of my ass, I realized I can achieve a lot of shit if you get off your ass and start moving and you start motivating yourself. You start to become a self motivator, right? So just different quotes. So it looks very simple, very plain. It's like you just click a button, you get a new quote, right? But there is so much infrastructure behind it. There is so much testing. There's APIs. There's so much code that goes behind it that it looks very simple on the surface, but it's so much going on behind. And what I'm doing is I'm using this very, very simple application so that so that they can actually gain real experience and have something to talk about and have fun doing it. So that is a highlight. So, and what we're doing tonight is I am implementing the API documentation for the API that goes behind it. So, yeah, so that's pretty much what we're doing. I can probably pull up the API in the next segment so that you can have even more context behind it. But that's pretty much a high level of what we are working on. Right. So hopefully, if you have any more questions, please don't hesitate to ask. But that's like the highest level of what we're working on that I can show. All right, cool. So let's continue really quick. Let's continue. So all right, so we're gonna do this part at the end so we can continue putting this stuff up. Let me see. So we are here, create a user. Why not? I didn't know that there was generated doc from Swagger, but so you're saying like you just install something from Swagger and it does everything for you? Well, honestly, the reason why not is because I also want to learn how to do it this way as well. But I didn't know Swagger could do that. So that's good to know. I'll look into that afterwards as well. But that's good to know if there's a way to auto generate it. But we'll find out. We shall find out. All right. So let's continue. Let's go to inside of docs. We want create a new file inside of docs called users.ts. So we're gonna create one called quotes.js. Let's go over here. And let's add that. And we're gonna say let's see here. And we're gonna say tags quotes description create a new a new quote in the system. I like the word database instead. And then operation ID. What's that called? Operation ID. I guess it depends on what their thing is called, but I say I might have to come back and change this because I think my thing is going to be a little bit more different than theirs. But it is what it is, right? So let's see here, and there's a security. Because as you're learning this stuff, you're gonna see like, okay, actually mine should be like this, but we will follow on. So this is gonna be a basic auth, and we'll go like that for now. And here. All right. So now we're getting into the request body. And what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna create the first one first. I'm just gonna create the first one, and then I will skip down to like generating like the Swagger so we can see it in action instead of doing everything and then trying to see if it worked. So you know how I like to do it. I like to do a little bit, see something generated, and then continue to build to it. Right? That's what we're gonna do. Request body is going to be here content and application JSON schema, and we're gonna say, where are they getting this from? I think mine is. I'm gonna type this in for now, but I think I'm gonna have to change it because I don't like. I think they're talking about their directory structure, which is definitely different than mine. I think I need to use this actually. Let me see.
Lunch break! Lunch break!
I think it's in model. I think it's this right here. It's SRC. I don't know. I'll leave it like this for now. And then after I see something generated, then I can go back and I can fix it afterwards. Because I'm not entirely sure what you just follow responses. And we say 200, I believe we use. Maybe 201? I don't know. Let me see, what do we use for that? We use for post. don't know what we use. Probably at 200. This is a lot of stuff. All right, let's stop over there for now. And let's go to break, and then we'll come back to it. So, and let's see. All right, let me go through all the comments, and then we shall see what we got going on. So we are on break. All right. So what's going on? Spaces. What it is? Where is that? Shout out to you, Spaces, as always. And the wealth building journey said to Mitch, I can provide an excuse of it was the heat for Floridians, but I don't know how to help people from the Bronx. Interesting. All right. And your card said, push it real good. All right. So I wanted to get to this comment that Heist King says, all right. So it says Swagger generates docs for API. It's on by default in local, I believe. It's the easiest way to keep your backend docs. I didn't know that. So I have to look into that, because if that's the case, I can always that can be another stream where we try to get the auto generated to work. I didn't know that it because I don't know. I didn't have anything installed for Swagger, so I don't know. We shall find out. And Hiking also said, otherwise, love what you're doing. I kind of want to refocus my studying on infrastructure and cloud, but I also do dev at the day job. Awesome. On Sundays, I do Terraform, where I am pretty much I'm using Terraform to build out the infrastructure for this application. We've been working on the load balancer for the past, or not load balancer. We've been working on setting up the Elastic Container Service so that we can run a container on AWS. But we've been setting up through Terraform with the load balancers and everything like that. We were just at the brink of getting that done. But yeah, so Sundays we do Terraform, and then once I'm done with Terraform, then we're gonna get into the DevOps course, so that we can learn about Ansible, we can learn about Packer, more about Docker, a bunch of different stuff. So yeah, like that'll probably be a really, really good show that you'll enjoy every Sunday afternoon, where we're looking into Terraform. So that's awesome, and happy to have you here as well. Happy to have you here. So we're gonna have like a lot of great information being shared by you. Let's see. All right, cool. So for our first break, I had a question. I mean, not a question, but more of a topic, right? So let me pull it up. Let me see. So what have you sacrificed? So let me put a 5-minute timer up on this. So I'm always seeing a lot of people who they want something, but I'm always like, all right, what did it take you to get here? And I don't mean like, oh, well, my life was so hard and stuff like that, and I went to college for this, and I'm in like $100,000 worth of student loan debt and stuff like that. I mean, how hard are you working to get what you want? Because I always see people are like, oh, I want a chance. And I'm like, all right, what are you doing for that chance? I honestly don't be like, if someone gives you something, you better be very, very thankful for it. But nobody owes you anything. And I always wonder, like, what is it that you're willing to sacrifice to get what you want? Sometimes, and I'll go back to myself, right? I'll use myself. when I was ready to go to a different company, what did I sacrifice? And what do I sacrifice even now? I sacrifice sleep. I sacrifice eating. I sacrifice pretty much everything to get past whatever's in front of me. So I would wake up 2 hours early. I'd go to sleep 2 hours later, so that I could put in some more studying, to learn more about unit testing, to learn more about the formal QA processes, to learn more about automation, to learn more about all this other stuff. When I am preparing for a competition, I'll train more, because there's a goal to be met. So when I see people like who are just posting and posting and posting about how they don't have this and they don't have that and whatever their circumstances are, and I'm like, all right, cool, but where's your body of work? Why aren't you sharing? Why aren't you sharing the sacrifices that you've made so that people can say, okay, this person is serious? See, and I think that plays a big part to the attitude, because a lot of people, they'll still be working their day job. They'll go to sleep late. They'll wake up early. They'll be studying on their lunch breaks because they're moving. They don't have time to waste. Every single second matters. And it's like, how efficiently are you using your time? How bad do you want what you say you want? Like, for me, like, everything honestly is an excuse. It can either be a good excuse or a bad excuse, but at the end of the day, it's an excuse. Some people say it's a reason, whatever. At the end of the day, it's the same. Like, it's the same result. And I'm like, all right, what are you doing? What are you doing to mitigate whatever it is that you're at? Because guess what? You can have all the reasons in the world, all the excuses in the world, but the results don't change. And I'm like, if the results don't change, then it's not even worth talking about. And that's why I'm always pushing people. I'm always pushing people. And part of that, people will drop off. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay because maybe I wasn't for you. But I'm like, all right, if you say that you want to be somewhere and you are way behind schedule, then I'm like, all right, we're gonna work. And you're gonna and I'm gonna start like, what are you willing to sacrifice to get what you want? What sacrifice are you willing to make? Because for me, I always have a sense of urgency. Because I'm always like, we got to keep moving. We got to keep moving. Maybe it's because of how I grew up, where where it's like, the people that I grew up around, I'm like, I saw there was no sense of urgency. I'm like, all right, I got to get it. And I don't know what it is, but for me, I'm like, all right, I don't like being behind. And sometimes like in the coaching group, they get very ambitious, like, oh, we can do this, we can do that. And then it's like, oh, well, we didn't know this was coming. And I'm like, all right, sometimes like you might have to fail a little bit to see where you're going. But I'm like, all right, what is it that you're willing to sacrifice to achieve what you want to achieve? Because anything that's worth it is going to take a lot of sacrifice. And are you willing to do the work? Are you willing to sacrifice to get what you want to get? And I think most people are not willing to sacrifice it. They think they are, they say that they are, but then once it gets time to put in the work, to do the heavy lifting, it's like, I didn't know. And I'll tell you this, a lot of people that I've worked with, whether it's coaching or not, or like in the past, they weren't willing to sacrifice. And for me, that's cool. I'll keep it moving. But I just want you, like, you really need to know what you're getting yourself into. On the other side, it's definitely worth it. But many people, they do not want to go through the jungle or the swamp or the forest to get to that other side. And it's a long, long road. When your car, for example, he doesn't sleep. Like, I asked him, like, dude, when do you sleep? And he's like, oh, I take cat naps every now and then because I'm working. And I'm like, I hear that. And for me, like, I have to find out, like, how do I take these little naps? Because I be having, like, that's the only time I have fun. I'm like, if I go to sleep, if I take a 15-minute nap, what if I need to do something in that time? So it's crazy. But that's why I always ask, like, all right, if you want to be where I'm at, I've been sacrificing for the past God knows how long. What are you willing to sacrifice in order for you to get here? I don't know. Only you can answer that. But one thing I do is that, like, when I start coaching somebody, I push them hard because they have to see the intensity that it is. And I'm not going to treat you like a boot camp, go at your own pace or nothing like that. I'm like, no, if we're coaching, if you're working on a project with me, like, we got to keep it turning every 2 weeks. And if that way you can see if it's for you or not, because the software development industry, it's even it goes faster than that. Like we might have like two or three small stories because you're trying to learn, but there's not really space to learn in the software development industry. Like you learn on the fly. So that's also why I put in so much work outside of work, because I also want to keep up and I want to keep learning. I want to keep growing. So like I said, what are you willing to sacrifice to get what you want to get? That's my question to you. All right. So let's get to the chat real quick and then we will get back to work. So Mitch says, let me get rid of this real quick. Mitch says, I sacrifice partying, summers, and friends. I know, Mitch. I don't know for you if that was really a sacrifice. I don't know, Mitch. And Heisking said, building an open API spec is a good learning opportunity, but you have to eventually switch to the generated spec file because keeping a hand-built doc updated is really research. That's a good point. That is, you know what? I am going to maybe like 2 or 3 streams from now, we're going to see how we can switch to that generated spec file, because that's pretty cool, because I don't want to keep manually updating this. So I think we'll do this one for our learning experience, and then in the future we'll switch to that one. So that's awesome. You see, and look at that value right away. Thank you so much, Heiskin.
I appreciate you.
All right, Mitch says eating. That's why you are 4'6". Mitch, I used to be like huge. I used to be huge. All right. So, but yeah. Hey, for me, I'm like, we got to win first, and then we enjoy later, right? Win first. That's my mentality. We got me, myself in the building. Says good evening, Tech Coach Ralph and chat. Good evening, me, myself. How are you? And it says your legit excuses are keeping you broke and stuck. Example, life is hard. That's a legit. I don't think that's a legit excuse. I don't think that's a legit excuse. And from what I've seen, the harder you grew up, right? A lot of times there is a crazy work ethic, but that work ethic is applied to the wrong places. So a lot of times, like people, they do some amazing, crazy things, but for bad. And imagine if they were to shift that hustling mentality to like software development or whatever type of business, they could go really, really far. That's what I'm saying, right? And sometimes you gotta slow down before you can speed up. That is true. And says sacrifice comes with patience, which people don't have. It is time consuming. That is a fact. You know what? That deserves a
message.
So, and that's the thing, like, and that's why we were talking about the other day about how the whole, I think it was on Sunday, how boot camps will like, they preach that speed. So in 6 months you can get this, in 3 months you can get that, and then now you go out into the job market and like there's nothing there for you. There is nothing there for you, and you are left saying, what do you say when there's nothing left?
I'm in a bind, Nate.
You see, and you guys will be working with Nate way too hard, all right? So, and it says, want what it looks like, but not what it feels like. Yup. Yup. And then sometimes people get sidetracked when they are in the relationship. Then if it doesn't work out, they are behind. Sometimes it can be unintentionally get you off track. That's why you got to be laser focused. Yes, laser focused. Okay. And it says, I don't mind sacrifice. Working in tech is hardly a sacrifice for me. It's more about the direction. Yeah. And that's why I always say it is so important to have a game plan. When I start coaching people, I'm like, all right, let's look out 20 years. Where do you see yourself in 20 years? And it go 10, 5, 3, 1. And what is our 6 months plan to get to the 1 and so forth, right? It says, that boy Mitch been preaching. That is right. And that gets also a hey. And that's one of the reasons that I put this app together, because like to help you, like, oh, I want to quit. Like, no, you can't quit. We got to keep going. It says, excuses are the motivation, not the cause. And Mitch says, Ralph, we about to fight for real. You know what, Mitch?
How dare you?
Just saying. I'm just saying. The one who hold me back. Anyways, all right, let's get back to it. See, it is interesting that you and the Wolf Journey would be teaming up on me because he'd be trying to get me with these big words, and then you'd be trying to get me with your craziness. Oh my goodness, you guys are too much. You guys are too much. All right. Anyways, let's get back to work. All right. So, like I said, in a couple of streams, we'll be looking into getting this API documentation from Swagger auto generated. But for now, we shall figure this out. We're gonna try it this way for now, all right? So let's take a look at where we're at. Because what I want to do, I just want to get to the generation part. So we are here, and all right. So this is the response. So something is gonna be up here. Something's gonna be weird here. That we're gonna have to figure out. But let's go to let me pull it up real quick. What are we using? Let's use shoot. I think I can do this. I'm gonna have to use Docker. Let me see what I have over here. I have some stuff over here. All right, this is gonna work. This will work. Perfect. All right, cool. So let's take this and go to here. So we need to get this into this format. And let's see. Create user body. I think we just need create quote. All right, so let's do that. Let's do that. Let's go over here, and I'm gonna just name this right here, create quote for now. But I'm sure this is gonna change. Just have to figure out exactly to what. Let me go over here. All right. So we are gonna go to here. I'm gonna say as soon as I get this one done, then I'm gonna go to it should be a 200. Okay, all right. So this as soon as I get this response done, I'm gonna go to start generating. But yeah, Heisman makes a good point. If there's a way to auto generate this, then we'll definitely implement the auto generation part because every time we make a new update to it, then that would be what we want to use. All right. So let's go to maybe we can even I don't know if we have time, we'll even pair it into this. All right. Let me put up another 20 minutes. By the way.
Let's go! Let's go!
Description quote successfully added to database and content and application / JSON and schema. Type is object. And properties. So in theirs they have ID, but in mine, so there they have it as this underscore ID, right? But I changed mine to just be ID so that it could like be more in flow with what it normally is. Then type is going to be a string, and then we can get a example like this. And then we would have quote. Type is a string again. Example. Let me just copy one of these quotes right here. And then we would have the author. Example. And what else do we have? Status. Type. This would be a string. Pending. And we'd say tags. Type would be an array. Example.
Money.
Shout out to your car as always. My goodness, your car. No, your car. No.
I
I
appreciate
appreciate you, your car. I appreciate you. All right. I'm telling you, we are gonna run it up over here, right? So we have here, and we can say tag 1, tag 2, tag 3. All right, so there we go. Let me see anything else. We have the added on. And we have type, and that would be like date time, I think it's called. Example. And the thing is, like, when you can take the date time and you can format it to however you want it to display on the actual like front end. All right, there we go. There we go. So that is that part of it. Let's see if there is any other part we need before we generate. So let's go over to over here. All right, so we got all this stuff done. I will come back to this one later. And create user body. Oh, so this one you're creating the quote. All right, let me do that one too then. Let's go over to, where does that one even come in at? Okay, so it's here. Close that one out. All right, let's go over here. Create quote. And type is going to be an object. Properties. Maybe that's what they meant. Create quote body. Let me see if I put this up here. I don't know. We shall find out. Anyways, let's go here. And we're going to say quote. Type is string. Example. Let me copy this one from up here. And author type string example David Goggins. And let's see here. We could have source type string example can't can't hurt me by David Goggins. Okay, and we could say tags type array, and I can just copy this up here as well. All right, so we got that. I think that's good enough over here. And so we come back down here, export, create quote body. All right, so that's that. All right, now we are going to jump into generating. Let's go over here. Let me see. We create the documentation by setting the tag for users, which means the endpoint belongs to the group users. The operation ID is used to identify the endpoint. It must be unique across all documentation. Operation ID. Where did that be? Update the file API doc by adding the code below. Add the root. All right, so let's go and do that real quick. Let's go here. And we're going to import. Create quote and create quote body from quotes.js. All right, we got that. Let's see, where do we have the operation ID? Was it here? All right, operation ID. You can already guess the process is the same for all other endpoints. Yada, yada. Okay, I'm not gonna do these. All right, so I'm looking over here. So let's get here. Display the documentation. We finished writing the documentation for our endpoint. To display the documentation in a way more user-friendly way, we'll install the package Swagger UI Express to achieve that. Let's see here. So we are gonna do. npm. So now I'm in the right. So now we're gonna install the Swagger.
I appreciate you.
Press the wrong one. All right. Let's go over here, and we're gonna do npm install Swagger -UI -express. Should be in dub, I guess. All right, let's try that. I spelled it wrong. All right, we got Swagger UI Express added. And let's go to open the file index.ts and add the code below at the top of the file. What is the index.ts file? Let me see. Let's see. What index file? Let me see what index file they're using. Let me see. Where is the structure for their thing? So I need to see what index file they're talking about. Let's see here. What index file are you talking about? Add the code below after the instructions. Add the code below after the instruction app.use/user. Okay, so I know what they're talking about. It's going to be in the app.js file. Okay, so it's going to be here. Your card's hilarious. So in here, we have the app.use index router and then quotes router. We would want to add this. So we're gonna do on the import over here. Let's do import Swagger UI from Swagger UI Express and import API documentation from here. Add the code below. So now we're here. Add the code below after instruction app.use/user route app.use documentation swagger UI.serve and then swagger UI setup API documentation. All right, let's give it a try. Let's see what happens. So we're going to take this here. We're going to take this here and go down over. Should I put it above this? Should I put it here or here? I don't know if it's going to matter. Let me try it here first. I just put it here. I don't know if it's going to matter that much, but I don't know. We'll see. Because I'm thinking in their application, they only have one, but I have like two separate ones. Why did I have a comma after it? This is all on one line. So I guess it should be like this maybe. And what are these errors? Argument type is not assignable to a parameter. I don't know. Let's find out. Let's find out. Well, they say we're ready to go. So I don't know. I really don't want to open up Docker. Because if I open up Docker, it's going to slow down the computer dramatically. I don't want to do that. But let's try to run it, see what happens. Let's see if we can run it without opening up Docker. Because if I don't open up Docker, we won't have a database. But we have other errors anyways. So let's find out what's going on. So, all right. So let's go to here. All right. So we have errors, of course. Let's see what's going on. So did you mean import.docs app? Yes, that's what I meant. All right, let's try that again. So it started up. There is not going to be a database because the database is in Docker and it's not running. So, but it did get started up. It's listening on port 3000. Let's go and see if we go over here and we go to localhost 3000 / and that failed. So let's see why. So let's look at our error here. It said that it failed because it couldn't connect to the database. Oh, great. Oh my God, it's gonna suck because I'm gonna have to open up Docker. Well, I guess we're just gonna have to wing it. We are just gonna have to wing it. Let's go to Docker. Because in order to get this working, we're gonna have to start up our database. And that is why I am working on getting a much, much, much more powerful computer. I'm looking to get 96 gigs of memory. Does that sound a little bit extreme? I'm looking to get 96 gigs of memory. All right. Let me know in the chat if it starts to go crazy, if it starts to freeze. Then I'll stop Docker as soon as I can. So I'm gonna start it again. Please connect to the database. Now let's go over to here and let's refresh. So we're making progress. We are making progress. All right. So we don't have no operations defined in spec. So we're closer. We are closer. But we probably need to do one more 20 minutes so we can troubleshoot to see why we aren't getting any a terabyte of memory, Antonio Watkins. I don't know if anybody can afford a terabyte of memory. That is a lot. The Macs that I was looking at, they go up to 128. Let's see. We are all right. So we're here. What's up, McCall? How are you doing tonight?
We the best.
All right. So how much time is that? I got 34. All right, cool. So we'll do one more 20-minute segment after we. So we have so no operations defined in spec. So we can start to troubleshoot. And that's why I didn't want to do too much because I wanted to see like what results we're gonna get first. Let me see. Well, 1 terabyte of storage is not that bad. It's the 1 terabyte. I need memory because the reason that everything slows down is because of the memory. CPU processing power and the memory is what slows it down. Looks like it's doing all right for now. We'll keep an eye on that.
Lunch break. Lunch break.
Let's see. All right. We're gonna. So everything is working. We just have to figure out the API documentation part for the quotes. It's saying that there is no operation defined in spec. So we'll play around with it. Anyways, let's go to break. Let's go to break. All right, so we are at break and we are making amazing progress. Let me give another round of, let me say hi again to my friend McCall. Welcome. Shout out to Poopy Pants app. That's what I'm talking about. I have 2 data people in the chat. I am very blessed tonight. You know, because I love that. I love that. All right. Anyways, let's check out the chat real quick, and then we will get to another brief topic of discussion. So let's see what is going on. Let's see. So, anything else before that? So, Mitch thinks he's a boxer. He says, "I'll take it easy because I know him, but if I didn't, gloves off, fight you like I don't know you." Let's just do a jiu-jitsu competition. Mitch, let's just do submission only competition. All right, let's do that. All right, I might stand a chance with that. Boxing probably not, but submission only. Let's get it done. Let's get it.
Let's get it.
All right, And again, shout out to your car for all the love and support. You are absolutely amazing.
I appreciate you.
And Heist King asks, how does one get involved in this project? So this project in particular, it is for my coaching group for what I call the Tech Barbarians, where I use this project in particular to help them build real software development experience, going through Git, going through Docker, going through Node, going through GitHub, Jira, Scrum. So every other Sunday night, we have 2 week sprints. Every other Sunday night, we have a Scrum night where we do our sprint review, we do our retrospective, and we do our planning for the next 2 weeks. So, and that is like, because I have other people that I'm coaching, but they're not in this because they might already be working in the field, but they want to learn more, they want to level up. But this one is for and it's like, even if you're working in the field, you can still be part of it. But that is for my coaching group that I use it for. If you or someone is interested in that, you can. So what I normally say is sign up for the Patreon at the lowest tier, and then we can have a conversation to see if the coaching group is right for you. Because sometimes like you might not need all like exact coaching if you're already in the tech field. So it just depends. So I always say get to the basic tier coaching group, and then let's have a conversation to see what we can do, what level you might need to be at. So if you are interested, definitely check that out over there. It is in the chat, the techcoachralph.dev website. So you can sign up for the Patreon, and then we can go from there. All right. And it says, no one on the corner has swagger like us. Okay. And your car says swagger like us. That's what we do here. That's what we do here. Antonio Watkins says, bro, you don't miss your car. Bro, you don't miss. I'm not sure you are human. Nightbot is your cousin. Oh my God, you guys. And yeah, terabyte, that's a lot. It says, why not just use a separate VM host? I don't know. It's trying to reduce because all right, so I'll tell you this. I see Ferris like using virtual machines and stuff, and it's like it's a lot. It's a lot. I'm like, I'm using my development environment to show what I'm doing. So it's hard to like use the VM host because I'm developing on the Mac. So I don't know. Maybe there's a better way to do it, but I'd rather just get a Mac, which is a lot more powerful, and then I can do all my cool stuff that way. And again, McCall Wellness in Motion. Welcome. As always so very appreciated. All right, let's see. They do on server platforms. Okay, and let's see what else. Anything else? For real, right? I'm just human out here. I'm just human, all right? Yeah. That's how you walk is hilarious. I didn't know we were talking about RAM. Excuse my outburst. Too funny. It doesn't need to be anything beefy. An old laptop can do all you for app dev like this. I don't know, cause like when I'm running WebStorm, it's like taking like 3 gigs of RAM, and WebStorm is taking 2.63. Docker is taking 2.51. Ecamm is taking 2.41. So and then voice might not like sometimes voice might goes up, sometimes Stream Deck goes up, sometimes Google goes up. So I don't know. It's just for me, it just seems easier to just get a more powerful computer and not have to worry about a bunch of extra setup. But I am open to ideas and suggestions. Let's see what else we got. And let's see. The World Building Journey says only arm bars, ankle cranks, and omoplatas allowed. I'm more of a choker, to be honest with you. Because when I see people like falling asleep, like they can't breathe. That just makes my day. Because after arm bar, like they'll tap to arm bars and stuff like that, but they never tap to the chokes until they get put to sleep, and then I have to like pat them like wake up, and they're like, what just happened? I'm like, you took a nap, right? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. All right. And lastly, Heisking said, yeah, set up pipeline to deploy the app after every push. This is a dev ops. Yep. And that's what I like. I when was it? Like maybe a month ago, I figured out how to set up the GitHub Actions, and like it's actually I'll show it when we go back to the project. I'll be able to show it. But we did set up GitHub Actions, um, like and that was pretty cool. That was my first time setting up GitHub Actions to run our test. So and I set up some GitHub rules too. So yeah, I'm like I mean I'm learning a lot doing this stuff as well. You know, and then before we move on, it says choking is too easy, but it's so fun though. It is so fun. Like when they start gargling and stuff like that, and like, oh, it's so fun. And they have to know they've been beaten. That's a good point. That's a good point. All right, let's get to our last 20 minutes of the night, and then we will wrap it up for tonight. All right, let's go to. All right, let me see. So over here, it says that we have no specs defined. There's no operation defined in the spec. But I could have sworn I put an operation in the spec. So let's go ahead and let's look at over here. It would be in this file right here, operation ID. I have create quote in operation ID. And API docs, tags, quotes. Let me see. Let me see. What did we do differently? I'm looking over here to see what is the difference. Import from users. Object. All right. So operation ID. Let me see. Let's just Google this real quick because I'm sure if we just do a quick Google search, Stack Overflow will give us the answer right away. No operation defined in the spec. I get this error even though the Swagger is set up and the endpoints are defined. Swagger definition. So they're using it this way though. It may be that there is an issue with how you're referencing your route. The referencing must always start from the root of the application. It must be changed to the folder name and root route. So where are you? Let's see. ABC require. My endpoints are defined. They're using the other one. So let me see if I can find another one. JSON object. I don't remember defining this. Let's see. Router. Let's see here. For the last 20 minutes, by the way.
It's time to do.
I'm trying to see where they specified it in this documentation here. Maybe I missed it somewhere. Update the docs. We create the documentation by setting a tag to users, which means the endpoint belongs to the users group. The operation ID is used to identify the endpoint. It must be unique across all the documentation. The property security defines it can be basic, bare. So I'll update that to basic. The property request body describes the content of the request body. The JSON schema refers to the property component schemas create inside the API documentation object. Okay, we end by indicating that the request body is required. The property response is defined. Already got that. You can already guess the process is the same for all other endpoints. The process is the same for all other endpoints with the request body and responses. Okay. Do I have that? All right, hold on. I don't even know if I have this part. I don't have this part. Oh, okay. So, okay, I got it. I got it. So, all right. So, I was supposed to add this part. I didn't see that. So, gotcha. All right. That's my bad. All right. That's my bad. So, let's go ahead and let's add this part. I misunderstood what the documentation was saying. Okay, cool. So, under what we have already, it said previous content here, and then we're going to do paths. Quotes. Put the comma here. And let me fix this up here right quick. All right, it's not on this file. All right, so quotes, post, create quote, comma, and then we would go here, comma, and then components. And then we didn't have any security schema. Let's just jump straight to schemas. And then create quote body, comma, comma, comma. And now let's rerun this. Now, if we go over here and over here,
We the best.
so look at that. Looky here. We got that to show up. And if we click here, we will see the example of our request body with the quotes, tags, yada, yada, yada. And on success, it would return to you a quote ID, the quote that you added, the author, the status is pending, the tags, and the added on date. And the schema would show you it's a string, an example of it. Boom, boom, boom. And then you could also try it out. And if you click on execute, I'm guessing it'll add it to the database. Let's find out. I don't know. Let's find out. Let's see. Failed to execute fetch. Windows failed to parse. Oh, so needs to be a slash. Okay. Okay, so let's fix that. There needs to be a slash somewhere over here. Let me see. Well, no, there's something else that's wrong. Because he's trying to put it on the wrong endpoint. Where would that be? Honestly, don't know. Where did I define quotes? Because the actual endpoint is going to be localhost 3000 / API / quotes. And that's why it's getting this error. But I got to find out where in here that's documented. this is good. So it has to be in here somewhere. The tags. Throw a slash over here. Not sure. And the curl statement looks all messed up as well. There's some things that are not correct in here. So let's play around with it actually, because where's the post? Create new quote, content, require. So let me change this back to. Let's see here. Components, quote schema. Object, properties, quote. Where is it being defined as a post? Is it here? Let me see something. I change this to like quotes the extra S. And this is how I start to troubleshoot. I start just adding random stuff to see where it's going to show up. And then I will undo as I need to. So that's where it's doing it. Okay. I see what's going on here. Try it out. Execute. Okay. Gotcha. So if we do if you have multiple paths. So let me see if I can do this here. I have no idea if it's gonna work because what? I'm just going based off how I think it should work. Let's go to and let me rerun this. Now let's refresh here. Nope. That did not do it. Actually, hold on. Why do I have 4,500 here? It should be 3,000. Let me start this over. So that should come back. But try it out. Execute. I have 3,000. Why do I have 4,500 over here? Let me see. I know why. Okay. let's see. We have this. We have that. Code successfully added. So this looks correct. But the problem is the endpoint is not correct. Like when you click on execute, it should have /API here. So, let's see, Swagger update or execute API path. Or, let me see. But this is in the YAML version. Let me see. JSON example. Let me see. This is YAML again. Everything I see, I guess people use YAML more than they use the JSON version. Path users post. That looks fine. Let me see how they did the role ID part. Create user. We have that one. Delete a user. Oh, wait. Path user post create user. Okay, so we can just, all right, I got it. So we just go ahead and do basically this. API slash another slash. And if we rerun this and we go to here, we refresh. Boom, there we go. And we go here, try it out. Execute. And it work? Yeah, there it goes. It nice, 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 nice. We are winning.
Let's get it. I mean, you know, all we do is win, man. You know that.
All we do is win. That's what I'm talking about. All right. So 5 minutes left. Let's keep going. So we have that. We have that working. So that's good. Now let's see if we can. I don't know if we're gonna have enough time to add one, but we got our schema. I don't like the formatting of the schema, but we have. So I mean, we have our circuit documentation. We have our post. Let's see if we were. What is this? What is this lock thing? I don't know what that means. So let me see if I can throw it up a get real quick. So they said if we're to do this, everything else would. They said everything else within. So it says the properties. So as you can guess, the process is the same for all other endpoints with the request body and response properties, which will be updated according to the endpoint requirements. However, we will see the case for endpoint with a parameter. The response is the same for all other endpoints with the request body and response properties. However, we will see a case for, okay, cool. I guess it would be this one. All right. So let's see. Let's just add one more real quick. All right. Let's add one more. Might go a little bit overtime. Might go into overtime. But let's see if we can add one more to it. So we have the create quote body. Let's say we do get quote by ID equals, and we would have, all right, so if we go into here, all right, if we go here, we are going to say, looking at our prior example, type object, because I have to do get all quotes. I have to get quote by ID. I have to get a random quote. I have to do we'll eventually have to do the put in the patch. But for now, we can just do this one to get that parameter, and we'll say type object. And then let me see. If we look at over here, we'll use the delete one to see how they did that. Delete. Inside the docs, add the code below. Don't forget to export the delete variable. So we'll do, I guess we don't need all that. They said just add the delete user, but where do you have delete user? Did they do the delete user up here before? This is just create delete user. Is that the only one they have in there? Okay. So we'll go, so let's just do that, right? I'm not even gonna I'm gonna comment this out for now. Let's comment this out and let's go to here. They said inside the apps doc, we would do under the path. And here. And we'll do get user. All right. I don't even have a get user yet though. So, okay, so we're gonna need to do a get user by ID. So we do need this to be commented
Lunch
in.
break. Lunch break.
And we will wrap this one up before we wrap it up for tonight. Let's say we go here and we say we export get quote by ID. And we're gonna say when you retrieve a quote, it's going to, let's see, properties. Create quote. There is no request body for the get. Response. All right, so let's go to responses. I'm just gonna copy this because all this stuff is gonna be included. It's a bit repetitive and redundant to add over again. Let's copy all of these. Quotes. Let's say this is get quote by ID. Retrieve quote by ID. Anything else in here? Let me see. We don't have the request body. Have an operation ID. Responses. We got that. Get quote by ID, but it's saying that this isn't being used. I don't know why. Unused get quote by ID. Export constant. But why is? Oh, okay. I know why. I know why. Because if we go in here, we say get quote by ID. And perfect. So let's run that again. Let's see what we get. Started. Let's go over to here. Refresh. Let's close that. Ooh, looky here. And if we were to take here, let's try it out. No parameters. Where do I put, how do I put the parameters in? How do I put the parameter in? That's the last step to this. Let me see. Look at the documentation, but we are right there. And I think this is enough for tonight, actually. Let me just see how I can put this parameter in, but that should do it for tonight after we get this part working. Delete user. Since the status file will be present on inputs, you can move this part of the variable to avoid duplication of code. Where do I get the parameter to go in there? Update the property path in the object to make it look like this. Okay. I just don't see the parameter. Let's see. All right, let's do a quick Google search. Pass parameter. Swagger. I don't know. Swagger UI, passing parameters. Let me see. I need to define the parameter somewhere in there. Let me see if they have it in this documentation. However, we will see a case for endpoint. Well, that sucks. They don't say how to put the parameter in. Let's see. I don't see how they put the parameter in. They should have a link to the GitHub for this. Learn more. To find source code. All right, let me take a look at this right quick. So we go here. We go to here maybe. Docs. Maybe users. And if we look for delete users, description of the user, parameters. There we go. Boom. That's what we need right there. So let me add that real quick and then we'll wrap it up. So, quotes, get quote by ID, and they added it right after security. So we would need it right over here. Parameters, open the array, and we're going to say the name is ID. And in path description, quote ID, required is true, type string. Cool. So let's run that back, run it back, run it back, run it back. And if we refresh over here, boom, boom, boom. So let's try it out. And let's take this ID over here that we just added and paste it in here. We should get a request body, a response back. So let's see. And would you look at that? Would you look at that? We are winning. So there we have it. We're pretty much done for tonight. I have to add a couple of more, but I can take care of that on my own. But we were able to successfully figure out how to implement Swagger docs. That's my first time implementing Swagger documentation, so that was fun. I am definitely going to look into what Heist King said about getting it auto-generated, because that'll be super, super helpful going forward, because we don't have to go and manually do this all the time, which is like Heist King said, that's like impossible to maintain. So if we can auto-generate the documentation, I will definitely do that, and then we can do a live stream on that as well. But let's go back to full screen. We're gonna wrap it up for tonight. Let's see what we got in the chat before we head out. We got, let's see. So Antonio Watkins said, you can't be choking people out. Hopefully no officer is watching. Hey, whatever happens on the mat is totally legal, all right? Totally legal, all right? And we said, so Antonio Watkins says, all we do is win, 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 no matter what. That's a fact. That's a fact. And the Wealth Building Journey says, I just signed up to be a tester. Awesome. I appreciate it. I will add you between today and tomorrow to the testing group, to whether you're on iOS or Android. We'll get that taken care of. I really, really appreciate it. And any feedback, so here's what I'm doing, right? If there is like some type of defect or let's say typo like trap and slave found, then I will get that fixed up before I like push it to the next step. But if it's like a cool feature that you have in mind, then I will add that to the backlog, and then we can discuss what would be the best way. And I think and that's something I was talking to your car about, that we're gonna figure out how we can use that as a teaching exercise on like how we're going to add this story to the backlog, how we're going to prioritize it, and all that type of stuff. So definitely tune in for that. Yeah, so we got it. We're good to go. Your car says, great show, Tech Coach Ralph. Thank you so much. It's like, we be hitting these buzzer beaters at the last minute. We're like, oh, there we go. We got it. And now we can wrap it up. So with that being said, I'm going to get out of here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really, really appreciate all the comments. I appreciate the super chat so much. Your car, really, really appreciate you. The Wealth Building Journey, thank you for being on your best behavior. Thank you for not making me look so foolish. I really, that meant a lot to me.
I appreciate you.
Because I didn't want to be like,
congratulations, you played yourself.
And that's what I would be saying. I'm like, I played myself, right? But you looked out. Mitch, salute to you as well. Heist King, thank you so much for all that insight. And I look forward to connecting with you even more. Antonio Watkins, McCall, Trap and Slay, everyone who was here, I really, really appreciate you all. Me, myself, you guys are amazing. Amp Stars, of course, Amp Stars. Can't forget Amp Stars. You guys are great, all right? I am going to get out of here. Thank you guys so much. But, before I wrap up, I always have a question for you. And that question is,
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
I am always, always very, very entertained. And, Mitch, you know what time it is, right? Yesterday's price is not today's price. Today's price is not tomorrow's price because
One more thing. Price of the brick going up.
the price of the brick is going up.
You might think that getting into the IT field is impossible without a computer science degree, but Tech Coach Ralph is here to prove you wrong. Get ready for some jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into this lucrative industry. Listen up, tech enthusiasts! Are you ready to break through into the IT field, but feel like you need a computer science degree to make it happen? Think again. Tech Coach Ralph has some exclusive, mind-blowing secrets to share with you. Get ready to be blown away by his jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into the tech industry without a computer science degree. So get your notepad ready, because Tech Coach Ralph is going to change your life forever. Buckle up, because you're about to embark on a journey to success in the IT field.
Spartans! What is your profession?